Hello, folks, and welcome to game number 1 of Art of War Esports versus Team Beat Boop. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster Shargan, and I have got Lolo from across the pond joining me on the caster's desk.
Shargan, I'm so excited. We've made it. It's playoffs.
Finally!
I couldn't be more hyped, and particularly this is going to be an amazing, hopefully a really spicy series to start things off. These teams are 3rd and 6th in the playoff standings, and 1-1 currently in regular season games, with Art of War taking a bit of an upset as one of the last games of the series. So I think Beat Boop want to bounce back a bit tonight. And let's get into the picks and bans. I can already see a lot of comfort being taken off the table and a very unsurprising first pick jinx there.
Unsurprising first pick jinx, but also kind of an unsurprising response of the Veigar. I believe we have seen Luru pull that out once or twice so far in this bot lane, and so like a Veigar Nautilus bot lane is not something I would be too surprised to see, especially with the way Team Beat Boop likes to play. So that could be some major scaling problems that Art of War has to deal with, and basically puts a huge timer on this entire game.
Yeah, and Luru and Antunes, as you said, they've played this combination before. They're undefeated, both of them on these champions in the regular season. And they're saying, sure, if you want to take the jinx away, because Yorn, yes, very proficient on the champion, even though Luru is 5-0 currently on it, so no surprises Art of War wanted to take it away. But they're saying, we're happy to match you with this bot lane. You can pick Tahm Kench as well if you want. Obviously, we've seen over the weekend just how dangerous that bot lane can be. But, I mean, Luru and Antunes are confident, and they have been one of the strongest bot lane duos in the league. So, yeah, they're looking to dominate even against this very strong pick 1 and 2 from Art of War.
Exactly, and then we've got the Tahm Kench Jarvan, very powerful top lane and jungle picks. You've got a lot of control available for the Jarvan. He's going to have to be able to survive some of these fights, though, so it's going to be really kind of an interesting situation going in onto a Nautilus and Diana. So that's going to be like a duel he doesn't necessarily want to be taking until he's like got some items built up, got some MR. So that'll be really, really interesting to see if Crims is able to stand up to Dax in this jungle. This is going to be an uphill battle for Art of War. I know I believe they've got the heart. I call them the Rocky of the Friend or Foe League, and I stand by that. So they're going to be taking a lot of punches this game.
Yes, for certain. And with those jungle picks, actually, I think the Jarvan, with the Volibear already being banned from Art of War, which Dax is 4-0 on currently from the regular season, Jarvan was his secondary pick, and so Crim's happy to take that away from him. But Dax actually picking the Diana in return, so we might be seeing, obviously, we've got some setup with the Nautilus, maybe Sweezy wants to take a Yasuo. It's not something we've seen from him yet. I think we've seen it once actually, but nevertheless, we are seeing a lot of top lane bans and also a Cassiopeia being taken away. That means maybe Sweezy's looking at the Silas, of course. That's a counter pick to that champion. So anything like that with the dashes, he might be looking to put some work onto Seaborg. But yeah, so that's the Yasuo being taken away, and I think Art of War a little bit wise to what they might have been trying.
Just a little bit. So we'll have to see exactly how we get some pivoting going on here. We got the Ornn pickup going into that top lane against the Tahm Kench. Brittle Stack's going to do a great job just absolutely demolishing that health bar to the point where the gray health won't even matter. We've got an interesting pickup of the Akshan here. Yeah. So that's probably going to be mid lane Akshan. That is a very squishy choice, I think, for Seaborg to be taking. However, getting those respawns up earlier with those assists and the resurrections, that could prove to be really, really useful for Art of War as these fights start to go on.
Yeah, so actually, I think I'm interested here because that is going to be the Silas coming through. So I actually think this is going to go into the top side. Slowbro has played this before once in the regular season on the top lane, and I think he's looking to try to put a lot of pressure onto Jaffe early. The Cassiopeia being banned away from Baby means that the Silas is nice to come through. Of course, he's got several fantastic ultimates already to steal away, so I quite like that from Seaborg. It's great for setting up, but they're putting quite a lot of pressure. I mean, Slowbro has really been the one of the standout members of Art of War, so putting him on this carry in the top lane I think is pretty good. But on the other side, this is a bit of a pivot here, isn't it? Because I think that the Veigar, with the first pick Veigar there, they've held on to it. And as you said, Luru has been great on the champion already, but it does look like they're actually going to pivot and stick him on the Misfortune to put Sweezy on the Veigar instead.
A little bit of a more traditional bot lane with the Misfortune Nautilus. I feel like that might have been kind of like a bait then on the side of Team Beat Boot by revealing that they're like, hey, yeah, let's just pivot the Veigar to the mid lane in order to basically trick Art of War into picking into a set of champions that'll be a lot more difficult to deal with. And that could prove to be really disastrous for Art of War. However, like you said, Sylas has a lot of great options when it comes to ultimate choice. And so it's going to be really kind of interesting to see how this game plays out.
For sure, and as well, of course, the Veigar with the baby cage being able to deal with quite a lot of the oppression that the Sylas wanting to take those trades early. So that's quite nice for P Sweezy. I think he'll be quite comfortable with this mid lane matchup now. Nevertheless, I think we've seen a lot of comfort on the board. Of course, we've got a very strong bot lane duos. Yes, the Misfortune, which is actually rising a little bit in popularity now in sort of the most recent games. So I would say, in terms of compositions, Sharagan, just before we get into the game, I would say I actually favor Baby, if only because they have the benefit of scaling quite substantially. Even though you're against a Jinx, you have Veigar, you have Ornn, and obviously you have great setup. If you can do anything with the ult combinations, you've got the baby cage also to set up for the bullet time. It's actually going to be really nice for Baby to play those team fights later on. Art of War, though, they do have some nice skirmishing and gank potential early with the Jarvans. So if they can get a lead, and particularly if they can put it on one of these carries like the Akshan or the Jinx, then maybe they can make something happen and snowball the game. So it's going to be very exciting. As I said, these teams 1-1. And I'm just I want to see how they're going to be posturing for that game one. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's like while we're waiting for that game to load up, now's probably the perfect time to go ahead, hop on over to FOFesports.com and check out the FOF Connect. If you go to look at that, you'll actually see that in the power rankings, yours truly actually said some stuff in there. Like I mentioned, I called Art of War the Rocky of this league, just because I feel like that they're always taking hits and they keep going down, but they just keep getting back up. Very much like Sylvester Stallone and all those movies. It's just I'm totally rooting for these guys. Totally rooting for them.
For sure. And I think I mean, Baby, I would say, I also actually, just whilst we are plugging the Connect and plugging all of the press that's coming out on top of this, I also want to put a mention to the Lounge, which came out only about 5 hours ago with yourself, Mr. Chris Sunga, and Theracles doing a live interview down in Texas.
Live interview down in Texas at a revolving sushi bar, which was pretty fun. I love those places.
It was really enjoyable, actually, and I think I mean, there were some great questions being asked by the community. Some a little bit more suspect than others. I'm not sure why they're being asked their favorite pizza topping. Also, I'm not sure why you're saying pineapple, Chris Sunga. That's very suspect in my opinion. But nevertheless, they were discussing theme tunes for these teams as well. So, Baby, I think they were saying Linkin Park. Bit of Edge, yeah, bit of In the End, something like that. I can't remember what they said for Art of War, actually, although
Art of War was Eye of the Tiger, but you can't play even half a second of that without getting copyright claimed.
That makes sense. That's why it didn't get pulled in. But I think someone in the comments suggested started from the bottom, and I think that's very apt for this team, who have come from a really difficult deficits early on in the season and have pulled their way back into playoffs, and they're looking to continue this wave that they're riding. So very interested to see how they can come out against Baby, who've been very strong for the whole season. Actually sort of fell at the last hurdle with an 0-2 in the final week, which actually put them down into third when they were contending for first previously.
Exactly. And another thing I do want to point out by this these team comps is I really feel like that Baby has another advantage where their go button is very easy to find on the keyboard. It's the letter R, where every single one of these champions, as soon as they hit that R, things will happen and it will get absolutely ridiculous. And it's going to be kind of nuts. So you can just basically everyone dogpile onto one target, and that target is going to basically disappear by the end of it.
For sure, and this is why, obviously, by comparison, this kind of predicates the value of the Sylas pick. from Seaborg. So that is going to mitigate it just a little bit. And yes, I don't think that Art of War have nearly as strong a team fight composition, but they are able to make good picks with this team. They have the Jarvan, they have the Akshan, of course, who can get nice flanks off from Slowbro. But in the meantime, just as we get into the laning phase, I think I just want to take a look.
Speaking of picks, right here, we got the hook coming out. Nice drop right there. Yanyan's going to get brought very low early on in this fight. And that is going to be really, really disastrous starting off. But we got a nice stun right here as well. Oriri pressuring this Lure. The Ignite's going to come out. Flashes as well in order to make sure that this keeps on going. Lure getting exceptionally low. The heal's going to drop. We do see Jinx continuing to pepper. The first blood, though, is going to go over to the side of Team Baby. And unfortunately, Yanyan is going to get taken down as well. And that is going to be a double kill onto this Nautilus as Antunes is out for blood.
Oh my goodness!
Right here in the middle, nice cage.
Yeah, see, that's the good thing about the cage, of course, is he can't get any more off of that trade. It's still a good trade for Seaborg. But going back to that 2v2 in the bot lane, it is a double for Antunes, as you said. He's the real carry of this bot lane, as we all know. But it was actually pretty good from Oriri. He trades flashes with Luru, which is really strong. He's got Crims as well, who can come down and continue to apply pressure. But he goes a little bit too deep, and that's, paid for his hubris there, as we see more action up here.
Jaffe getting brought very low, and that's going to be a nice kill as Crimes manages to take down the Ornn. The Goat Man is gone.
And he's got TP, so he's going to be able to come back to lane fairly quickly. But yes, no surprises here that Crims has wanted to play for Slowbro, who has all season been really a kind of X factor for Art of War. He's always managed to play his lanes very well, build himself up leads. The last time he was on this action, he was ahead. He wasn't able to pull out a win, but maybe it'll be different this time around.
Oh, and look at this. We got Antunes missing the hook, but he hits the wall, so that means he's going to get pulled in anyway. That's perfectly all right for him. He doesn't mind that. Yanyan's going to have to flash out. They didn't use flash earlier, so that means Oriri's going to have to sacrifice his life, but that is the job of a support. You leave them to go, but look at Antunes, once again, out for blood, jumping on Yanyan, goes and gets another kill. That right there, my friends, is why you have to be afraid of that Spider-Man in the bot lane.
Told you he was the real carry, man. He's dangerous on any hook champion, and he doesn't miss. So that's, already putting Baby's bot lane. I said they were going to be out for domination. They're kind of out for domination right now, particularly then their support is 3-0 at 4 minutes. And their Diana also has a kill, so looking very nice for them. In the meantime,
Dax is getting a nice engage, jumping on top of the Veigar. Veigar's going to have to flash away in order to stay alive, but we got Crimes here in the mid lane joining Dax in that counter gank right there. Very well played by Art of War in order to try and get themselves some bit more pressure. One thing we're seeing right now, Lolo, is that both of these teams are... Art of War is playing very, very aggressively despite losing a lot of these trades. Give your example, this right here. Jaffe, once again, taking a lot of damage, getting brought down by the secondary proc. And so even though they're kind of starting to fall behind in some of these places, they're not letting that lead get to them just yet, because now is the time to keep the pressure on, because Baby hasn't had a chance to really back and get those items. Now that they have, things are going to become a lot more difficult.
Slowbro really needs to base. He's gotten a kill and an assist, and he's got a CS lead as well. He needs to get this crash or just leave it. I think he is going to leave it because he's sitting on just a cull. He's already managed to get himself a solo kill there, so now he's going to have to really set up lane domination. Do we see a Hullbreaker come out? This isn't the same Hullbreaker as previously, but because his bot lane's bleeding so heavily, and the mid lane's looking okay for the time being, but yeah, he's going to have to really continue to play make for his team, and Crimes has given him the opportunity to do so with that gank early, but it's going to have to keep going because the bleeding needs to be stemmed a little bit here, and Antunes, I don't think he's going to let it.
Nope, he's certainly not. He's going to go for every target he possibly can. We do see Oriri having to use his Abyssal Voice just to get away. P-Sweezy joining them down here in this bot lane to try and get an extra gank off. Aren't able to really get a lot out of it, as there were no summoners available to even burn on the side of Art of War.
No, but they are going to be able to get a crash in, and that is going to give Dax, should he want it, the opportunity to look at this first Drake, as he is clearing down towards it at the moment. So... that already is just continuing to apply pressure after that massive lead that Baby have built in the bot lane. And I mean, the mid lane's looking okay for the time being, but neither support has really got much of an opportunity to roam just yet. Seaborg being able to get a little bit of a crash there. But as I predicted, we are going to be seeing that first Drake going down with that priority in bot.
Yeah, you got that priority in bot lane. So that with that Drake going down, that's going to be a nice bit of healing for Team Baby. That's something they love. Not to mention, it synergizes very well color scheme wise for them. It works. It works very, very well. Obviously, Art of War wants that Mountain Soul because the brown just complements the black and gold. But what we do need to look at right now is if we're looking at these lanes is Sean managing to pick up those kills on that Ornn, getting himself really deep into this cull, actually. Already, we're about 7 minutes in. He's basically halfway finished with it. So he's gotten a very good, comfortable CS momentum, I think is the word I'm looking for. So that'll be big. It is pretty big, and he's got a huge CS lead, so that should help him be able to lead this top lane eventually and start assisting the rest of his team looking for those squishies, jumping in on those backlines.
Yes, and Jaffe, we should note, of course, he's got the spellbook on deck, so I don't think he's particularly easy to kill now because he's got 6, he's got Warden's Mail. He actually might be looking to fight.
He's kind of looking to fight, but I feel like Akshan's like, it's okay, I got this, I'll be fine.
Yes, and of course, Crimes is in the area as well, so Jaffe definitely would be playing with fire a little bit too much there. Yeah, just taking a trade. I got a little bit overexcited because I love to see a bit of scrapping up there in the top lane, but nevertheless, as I said, he's not nearly as easy to kill now with that Warden's Mail on deck, and he's got the exhaust as well from the spellbook. So even though he doesn't trade as heavily as he does with the grasp, he's still got. Crimes is still looking, but I think this is actually quite difficult to pull off.
This is definitely a tricky gank to pull off. Unfortunately, he's coming in a little bit late. They might be looking for a dive here. Crimes managing to actually get some damage off, having to avoid tower aggro. If we look at this, poor Yan just can't even step up to this wave. They just keep taking so much damage from the bullet rain coming out of Luru. That serrated Dirk is just doing so much for the 0-4 Luru right now. The 0-4, as we can see who the real carry is in this bot lane.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we all know who it is. Former champion, of course, as well. Let us not forget. But I will add that the Serrated Dirk, as you mentioned, doing a lot of value. And this, the other issue that Art of War's composition has is it's not particularly tanky. I mean, Crimes is building his way towards. He's not going the sort of chem tank route as well. As Jaffe is gonna. Here we go.
Oh, bro is gonna be avoiding that very, very well, but he's gonna get caught by exhaust. Lots of resources expended just to take down an Akshan. I was not expecting that much to be used right there.
I think it's very understandable because honestly, with the bot lane all but one already for Baby, they're very happy to shut down the only point on the map that is actually applying pressure, and that's Slowbro. He gets taken down. He doesn't have TP, and that is going to allow them to take some plates. Dax is now 2-0. He's working his way towards a Nash 2 very, very quickly and looking to carry the game.
Missing that knock-up is going to be so painful.
Yeah, it's...
And look at that.
Oh, Attitudes!
Attitudes, once again, with the hooks. Yan, nice use of the bombs in order to get themselves away, or Riri getting a nice bit of damage up. But look at them, with the hail of bullets coming out from Luru. That puts them exceptionally low. The Ignite is down. We do have the Abyssal Void coming out as well. Or Riri continuing this push, trying to find this engage. But look at that. Oh, so much damage coming out from that. That means that's going to be another kill. A double kill. Once again, going over to Antunes as this Nautilus just drags Art of War into the abyss.
What is this guy going to build? He's got more gold than his mid laner. He's actually, he's look at the goal on Adtunes right now. This man is 5-0 at 10 minutes on Nautilus. It's hard to comprehend, but I'm just glad that what I said is like what we said about this guy being the real carry. He really is, and Crimes is going to try to get. It's a big shutdown right now.
Yeah, that is a good disengage onto Crimes, and look at that, a huge amount of damage coming out as well. And unfortunately, that means that Crimes is going to have to walk away in order to get out of there. Seaborg stealing the Veigar ultimate to throw the pull of darkness into his own face. That's very well done, allowing the mid laner to pick up some more gold right there. But unfortunately, if we look at the scoreboard, it is now a 3k gold deficit on the side of Art of War.
Dax is looking to catch the wave. I don't know if he wants to engage on Seaborg there, but yeah, I mean, of course, even though Sweezy can stop some of the engage, you still have to be worried because the Primordial Burst will kill you, as you know, everyone who's played against a Veigar knows. And Seaborg has that option available to him as well. So yeah, we haven't really talked much about mid lane because of how much scrapping there's been in the side lanes, but he is building himself up a pretty sizable lead right now. And as we talked already, he's got the luxury of all of these fantastic ultimates on the side of Baby. So if he can continue to build this lead, then maybe this is a potential win condition that Art of War can unlock. Because at the moment, they're really struggling. I suppose the only silver lining for them is that the most fed member of the enemy team in some sense is the Nautilus.
Yes, and well, I know that Baby is the one who's winning a lot of these fights. One of the things I did say, look at this right here, Seaborg getting knocked up right there. That's going to be really, really devastating as we see the Ornn coming out, another knockup. That is 2 in a row. Seaborg getting brought really low. The Ornn goes unstoppable. That means he's going to go down as Seaborg gets the kill. Cataclysm's going to come out. P-Sweezy has nowhere to go. The cage is basically his own cage, and so he is going to get taken down as well. And look at this, the rest of the team, Baby has arrived, and then we see Nautilus getting a nice hook off. They are basically forcing Art of War off this Drake. They want to go for the Infernal that's going to be coming up here in a couple of minutes so badly. Yon is kind of just caught out of position. We got the depth charge coming out right now. They're going to get knocked up. We got the rest of Art of War continuing this push. It looks like they're trying to find some kind of angle. They know that they need to get something out of this. Unfortunately, not quite able to. That was a little suspect, Antunes. I don't know if that actually hit the wall, my friend. Slowbro trying to find that engage. Once again, this is just, it's a lot of trading back and forth.
Yeah, well, so Baby do get the Drake as they manage to pick it up, as Antunes he's not done.
He really isn't. Like, basically, like, these fights, it's like you kind of got to look at them and it's like, it's not going to result in a kill, but it's just basically going to be these two teams trading back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
He can't stun like he normally would. Like, you know, a normal Nautilus trades his life and gets his carrier kill. This Nautilus has 800 gold on his head. He probably doesn't want to go and trade his life, because actually that's very good for Art of War at this point in the game, where the gold lead is actually, it's gone down a little bit after that fight. We didn't really get a chance because that play went on for so long to talk about that fight in the mid lane, but Seaborg, they try to shut him down, do Jaffe and Sweezy, and it just doesn't work out. He's now 2-0. He hasn't quite got his Everfrost on deck yet, but he's really looking actually quite dominant in this mid lane against Sweezy at the moment. And Antunes now, I think, is trying to apply pressure as well, because they've now recognized this is the biggest win con available to Art of War.
It definitely looks like, look at that Seaborg dodging that hook just barely. Oh, man.
Very scary. And now Crimes, he's getting a lot of pressure in his jungle.
Crimes is going to get caught out. He's going to be seeing that. Good use of the blast cones. This is the beautiful advantage of the Infernal Drake. Lots of blast cones in the air, but that is going to be a couple of lost wolves for him. He's not going to be able to get that. He's going to lose the blue buff as well. That is a lot of experience that's lost right there. We have a good use of the Diana ulti coming out of Seaborg, stealing it from her, and that is going to be a lot of damage coming out as we do see some kills. Finally going over to Art of War once again. Seaborg is going on a killing spree right now. Jinx right now trying to pepper this bot lane. Unfortunately, not much that they can do. Oriri just can't get away. They were trying to save their support, but there was nothing that the Kench could do. And so right now, he's just got to go back and sit on that bench and take a breather.
Yeah, it's actually going to be overall a trade 2 for 2, with Crimes giving his life to set up that play in the top side. Only Oriri dies. So once again, I think this is fine for Art of War. Yes, Luru does get a kill. That's nice, but overall, it's just Oriri. He's not worth that much gold at this point. Whereas on the other side, Seaborg's netted himself another. So he is building a lead. As Slowbro also netted himself a kill, he's got the Blade of Ruin King already on deck. And Art of War, they are starting to build some carries, and the Mythics are coming through on both sides right now. So we've got 2 minutes on the Drake, and we know that Baby have the superior team fight, but maybe Art of War can get a pick first.
You know, and it's like they may have the superior team fight. If we look at this gold, though, if we look at the way Art of War's been playing, they've been maintaining this 3K gold deficit. So they've kind of like stemmed the bleeding a little bit, where they're not doing so hot in the gold, but it is in a situation where they haven't started losing that much more.
Yeah, well, as we can see up here now, Slowbro a two level lead onto Jaffe now, and that Blade of the Ruin King, it really does hurt. So Dax is going to have to go up there, try to babysit a little bit as Seaborg continuing to apply pressure in mid lane. This is nice for Art of War, because again, he's going to be able to build himself a push in mid. That's actually going to allow them to potentially rotate down, particularly with Dax up there trying to deal with Slowbro.
Yep, and Akshan just finished his call, so that's going to be getting rid of that. Nice bit of gold into his pocket as he manages to pick that up right there. He's got the Bork, like he said right there, and he should be able to get the Mortal Reminder, which is going to help him deal even more damage to these tanks and help him rip through them as quickly as possible. He's going to be the one who does that too. So Slowbro is going to be the one who has to deal with this Ornn, has to deal with this Nautilus, and in all honesty, with the way things are going, yes, Antunes was able to get that early lead, get those 5 kills. We might see that shutdown go onto the Akshan, which is not where Baby wants to see it go.
For sure, yes. This is actually Antunes now actually has to be a bit careful with the way he plays, which obviously he wouldn't want to normally. As I said before, he is worth a lot of gold now, which almost is a little bit of a curse for him. But I don't think that's going to dissuade him too heavily from making a play like this. Not too heavily.
Crimes is going to get caught out right here. He's trying to find a way over the wall. Isn't able to do it. Too many pulls, too many knockbacks, and he gets shoved in there. We do see Misfortune getting pulled back. Luru is going to get pulled away, but Oriri is blocked so low. There's nowhere for him to go. Yan stepping around the cage, does not avoid the Rift Walker, though. Means that they're going to get finally caught out by a whole bunch of different ultimates right there. There was the depth charge that was also about to hit them and knock them up, and that is going to be another set of kills. Going over to Baby, secures the pressure they need to take this Drake, and that Infernal Drake is going to be a huge problem for Art of War.
Yeah, Seaborg trying to trade back here in the mid lane, but there's not much more he can do than that, really.
Oh, look at this. Jumping onto Luru, getting a lot of damage off those auto attack procs are doing a lot of work right there. Does actually manage to get it. Unfortunately, he's going to get...
Oh my god, wait!
He is taking so much damage, and he was being caught under the tower, but he stays alive, avoiding that last tower shot, and picks up yet another kill.
Somebody stop him, man. He's an absolute menace on this Nautilus right now. He's killed so many people. He's such a problem. Let's just go back for a second, though. I've got to stop talking about Antunes. It's very hard to in this game, but I'm going to stop for a second. So, yes, there's an Infernal Soul point has gone over. Crimes, just going back, lingered a little bit too long in that jungle. That basically means that's free real estate for Baby. They pick up a bunch more kills. Seaborg isn't able to trade back on Jaffe, who, you know, he's fallen behind early, but he's always going to add value. He's on. He's going to get tanky. He's chilling. Slowbro dies again. Art of War really in a tough spot right now because now, as you can see, no one's really touched the Herald because all of the fighting's been around the bot side for a lot of the game, and now it looks like they're at least trying to secure vision because they don't want to give over any more objectives.
They don't want to give any more objectives. However, we look at this, Antunes is stepping out by himself, and there are 4 members of Art of War. The first slow comes out. The Abyssal Voyage is getting knocked up. Antunes got too big for his britches. We see the Cataclysm coming out as well. That is a whole lot going on right here. Antunes is finally going to get taken down. The shutdown going over to Jinx, who has been shut down this entire lane. Finally gets a breath of fresh air with their first kill. That is massive.
It's exactly what Yon needed. He's kept up in farm, but now he's just been injected with, I think, 900 gold. So that's we know that if you let this champion get off and get to the item spikes that she needs, that she can carry a game on her own. Yon, a lot, as you said, resting on his head right now. Art of War are going to continue the pressure they've just applied with that pick on Antunes. They're going to take the Herald as well.
Yes, taking this Herald is going to be really, really big. So they're going to have a huge amount of pushing potential, which is going to allow them to get any of these turrets, which they desperately need because it will give an extra influx of even more gold to their team because these bounties are on the table. Like, all of this is starting to kind of go in the way of Art of War with all of these different catch-up mechanics coming into their favor. The question is, are they going to be able to capitalize on it and be able to take down Baby in this game 1?
The problem is that that's certainly true, but the problem is that, as we saw in draft, Baby had the benefit of scaling because while Sweezy's had a bad time in lane versus Seaborg, he is Veigar. He doesn't really mind because by the end of the game, he'll kill anything. And Ornn is... Jaffe's behind, but once he hits level 13, then he's going to start applying items, and that's just going to make life even better for Baby. So they still have that soul point available to them as well. Yes, the Herald was picked up. They're going to have to get a lot of value out of this Art of War because still the Baron spawned just as they took the Herald. And now they're Baby, they're going to try to apply a pressure top lanes. They can actually just maintain that side of the map in their favor.
Mm-hmm. And if we look at the items that Yan decided to pick up, they went with the Gale Force, which not the worst thing in the world because you've got that extra mobility. I kind of feel like they would have wanted a Kraken Slayer, though, just because they're going to have to deal with the Ornn, going to have to deal with the Nautilus, and even Diana can get kind of tanky at certain points, so it's kind of one of those things where you just want to get through these health bars as quickly as possible. However, the Gale Force will allow them some extra mobility to try and avoid those Antune hooks, so might be more beneficial. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, and the Drake is now spawning in 1 minute 20 seconds time, and this is absolutely crucial because let's be honest, if you give Baby's comp an Infernal Soul, then it's impossible to fight them after that because there's just too much damage available to them, even from the tanks. So now some key resets are coming in. Sweezy, he does have.
Ooh, look at this!
available.
The flash coming out from Dax as he jumps right on top of the Akshan.
That's really bad for Slowbro, who also doesn't have TP available, is not going to be up for Drake now. So at this point in the game, Art of War, either they make a miracle happen here or they're going to have to give over Soul. It's really, really bad spot for them. Yes, Dax is still was up in top lane to get that pick, but he's beelining down now. And vision control, as you can see, entirely in the favor of Baby. I'm not sure Art of War is supposed to do at this point because they can't really rush Baron that quickly either.
No, there's really not a lot for them available. So like this Dragon's not even up for another 20 seconds, which is plenty of time for everybody to come back onto the field. However, that means that there's going to be a huge fight or a huge skirmish, which is going to favor Baby. It's not going to favor Art of War. They don't have the vision. They don't have the damage control and the damage potential that Baby does right now. So that's going to be something that's really, really scary for them. They would much rather go for a steal, but unfortunately, it's not going to be an easy thing to do.
It's an option available to them. Baby have given up the choke points at least, which is very good for them.
It may be good for them, but look at this. We're going to see Antus throw out that hook. That's going to kick off everything here. We're going to see everybody jumping in on this. The Ornn ultimate is going to knock up multiple targets. The Cataclysm, though, is basically going to be a death sentence as it traps multiple members of Art of War in the hail of bullets from Misfortune.
Oh my god!
We've got Seaborg going on the background, getting a double kill, actually a triple kill, managing to take out multiple members of the backline. We do see that Crimes is still up. Diana is also still up, so we have both smites on the board, so this could become a smite fight.
Oh my god.
Yon just barely avoiding that crescent, which would have spelt the end of their life. Right now, Jarvan jumping in on top of Dax, going for that fight, going golden on the Diana. Crimes trying to hold on to their smite so they can stay alive. They had to burn it early, but we see the gold shut down. Double kill. That was so devastating as the healing and the damage from Diana just manages to make the Moon Goddess get the final set of kills.
For a second there, Seaborg was like he was trying to put the entire team on his back right there, getting a triple basically on his own, diving into the back line, taking out key carries, leaving just Dax and Jaffe versus the three members of Art of War. But Dax, he was 7-0 at that point. He's now 10-0. Just completely annihilates the rest of Art of War on his own. Absolutely, I mean, crack play from him. He saves what could have been a real turnaround for Art of War there. Very exciting fight, actually, but ultimately that is going to net the Infernal Soul for Baby, and now they've built up the goal lead, and now they also have full control of Baron and the bot side jungle.
And you've got a 10-0 Diana, which basically just controls the whole map.
Yeah, he's now more fed than Antunes, which took a little while, but you know, Dax he's an absolute problem, as you say. The Moonfall now will one-shot probably half of Art of War's team.
It really, really will. It's going to be just so much damage. You've got that fully stacked Dark Seal as well. Haven't turned it into a Mejai's yet, but there's really no need to at this point. Feels like they kind of just picked it up just for the lulz. If you look at this, they're going to push her over onto this Baron. The Baron is basically free, unfortunately, for Art of War. They're going to have to try and put some pressure in this mid lane. They can try and contest this and try and go for the steal, but really there's only so much they can do because once Antunes manages to land a hook, the fight's going to start and the fight's going to go in the way of Baby.
Yorn does have Super Mega Death Rocket, but elects not to use it. Instead, they're just going to focus on trying to get this mid turret, but they're going to get collapsed on!
They are going to get collapsed on. Antunes is going to throw out that hook. It's going to manage to find Oriri. Everybody's going to turn around, but look at this. The damage profile on Art of War just isn't there when you compare it to the amount of damage that Baby can put out. That is just an absolute devastation. The health bars basically didn't even exist.
You get funneled into a choke point against Misfortune and a Veigar, and look what happens. Great engage again by Antunes. No surprises there. It was a bit of a last-ditch effort from Art of War, who really they did very well to hold on for how long they did. Fantastic fight previously on the Drake potentially, but ultimately Baby just got too strong too quickly.
Just a little bit, and unfortunately that scaling is going to spell the end of Art of War right here. They're going to lose this game number 1, but that's just it, folks. This is game number 1. We still got another 2 games at least that are going to be coming out, so Art of War, it's just time to pick yourselves back up and get ready for round 2.
And I think Art of War should actually be take a lot of heart from this game, because they did make some good plays, and they were able to build themselves some advantages here and there, particularly with Seaborg in the mid lane, who actually I think had a great game on the Sylas. The things that I think maybe they should take away for game 2 is that the 2v2 early in the bot lane really cost them, as did, I think, the Akshan wasn't really able to provide much impact either. But overall, Baby looking incredibly strong, great team comp, great execution, great hooks, all of that good stuff. So they're looking in fine form. But yeah, let's see if Art of War can bounce back.
Yes, we will definitely have to see that. So just stick around, folks. Grab a copy of the FOF Connect. Go get yourself some popcorn. We'll be right back with round 2 after a quick break.
Let me say thank you for all this time, babe. I've been loving every time I could call you mine.